The world's first half marathon by robots is held in Beijing. Residents continue to travel across the mainland border for the Easter holiday. And Chief Executive John Lee enjoys a day out locally in Tai-O. Good evening and thank you for joining us. The world's first half marathon featuring robots was held in Beijing this morning. The winner was a humanoid called Tiangong. Muसँग reports.
The half marathon kicked off at Nanhaizi Park in Beijing at 7:30 a.m. But the event had a special feature. Some robots were accompanied by humans and were provided with a separate racetrack. 20 robots ran one after another. This 1.2-meter tall robot is called N2. What do you think of its running posture? The entire race route is 21 kilometers long, covering places such as Nanhaizi Park and Tongminghu Park. 8 battery stations were installed on the site, ensuring the robots can recharge their energy throughout the race and receive maintenance if necessary. But the event was not without its hazards for the mechanical runners. One of the robots tripped over itself. It managed to continue the race after receiving help from the staff members. In the end, Tiangong robot won the half marathon, taking 2 hours, 40 minutes and 42 seconds to complete the race. News 9, TVB News.
On the second day of the Easter holiday, more than 462,000 people departed from the city as of 4 p.m. Among them, 410,000 are Hong Kong residents. Nearly 1.25 million travelers entered and exited the border on the first day of the Easter holiday, 7% higher than the figures last year. It's less busy at the West Kowloon high-speed rail station compared with the first day of the Easter holiday. Some travelers chose to set off on the second day of the Easter holiday to avoid the crowds. They include Mr. Yu here, who said he didn't expect this many people today too. This man said he is taking a 3-day trip to Guangzhou and has expected a travel rush during his return to Hong Kong. Some tickets are hard to secure as well. They include Chongqing, Kunming and Shantou-bound ones, which are sold out. This woman said as there is no direct train now to these destinations, she has to head to Guangzhou first to take the transfer train. At the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge Hong Kong port, the footfall is also less than that on Friday. According to the Immigration Department, nearly 1.25 million people traveled across the border on the first day of Easter holiday. 831,000 of them exited the city. 724,000 were Hong Kong residents. Compared with last year, 20,000 more Hong Kong residents traveled abroad. The numbers of arrivals and departures this year also reached new highs in recent years and topped a pre-pandemic level, nearly 4% higher than that in 2019. Chief Executive John Lee said the government will continue its work to attract more tourists to visit the city. This as he shared his Friday visit to Tai-O on his social media page. He visited Tai-O along with Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism Rosanna Law and Secretary for Youth and Home Affairs Alice Mack. Lee took a boat ride and talked with an exchange student from Germany. He also bought sa yong, which are sweet deep-fried buns of dough, a famous snack in Tai-O. Apart from talking with mainland tourists, the city leader also tried to promote Hong Kong to a food blogger from the UK.
Hong Kong is really a gourmet city.
It's like the best.
Glad to hear that. I think you're right.
Thank you so much.
Good.
It's really good to meet you.
Yeah,
Thanks
come
for your
more often.
hospitality.
In a recent operation, the police arrested 503 people on suspicion of crimes related to money laundering and fraud, involving losses of more than $1.5 billion. Muसँग reports.
Police on Saturday revealed an operation conducted this month targeting scamming and money laundering activities. 2 of the cases, involving a total of 19 arrests, were highlighted by police. Authorities busted a local fraud syndicate in Tsuen Wan and detained 11 people. The group recruited young people who used dating apps to learn local men and convinced them to set up online shops on e-commerce platforms. Scammers would fabricate third-party orders and ask victims to source items and and pay using cryptocurrency. After following instructions, the scammers disappeared with the money. The force estimated the syndicate had made a profit of more than $1 million a week. Another case involved a syndicate using artificial intelligence to change photo profiles on stolen HKID cards in an attempt to open bank accounts. The force said 21 stolen ID cards were used by the syndicate for such purposes. The group managed to apply this method to open bank accounts 30 times. 8 suspects were arrested.
The crime trend changes very quickly. So what we need to, the banks need to know the latest situation and how we can collaborate the best with the law enforcement. In this operation, the youngest arrested persons are at the age of 18. Some of them might be ignorant to the law. That's why we are very concerned, and we try to do as much publicity and education work.
The force says young people should not join syndicates hoping to make a fast buck because they could commit serious offences, including conspiracy to defraud. Memos 9, TVB News.
The U.S. plans to impose port fees on vessels owned, operated, or built by Chinese companies starting in October, which will affect ship owners in Hong Kong and Macau. Chinese state media Global Times said Washington's move may exacerbate chaos in international trade. Global Times said Beijing has expressed resolute opposition to the policy, adding that it could impact major shipping companies. British media outlet The Guardian reports that most vessels among the world's top 10 shipping companies are manufactured in China, and the shipping industry in the U.S. also warned that the port fees can increase price levels domestically. In Hong Kong, commercial sector lawmaker Jeffrey Lam said some shippers can consider using South American ports as an alternative to U.S. ports. U.S. President Donald Trump said negotiations between Ukraine and Russia are coming to a head, and Washington wants to see tangible progress soon. Nasser Karim has more.
The United States is ready to revive its mineral deal with Ukraine, but may potentially walk away from brokering peace between Kyiv and Moscow if the two sides fail to reach an agreement soon. The message coming from Washington is that President Donald Trump has had enough. This after Secretary of State Marco Rubio said after a meeting in Paris with Ukrainian and European officials that the U.S. may move on if no progress is made.
Now, if for some reason one of the two parties makes it very difficult, we're just going to say you're foolish, you're fools, you're horrible people, and we're going to just take a pass. But hopefully we won't have to do that. No, Marco is right in saying it. We want to see it end.
Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said progress has been made, but the talks were complex and many issues remain. He also said that Ukraine has failed to adhere to the terms of a temporary ceasefire. Before taking office in January, Trump said he would end the Russia-Ukraine war in 24 hours. He has since claimed that remark was sarcastic and denied he was being played by Russia.
No, nobody's playing me. I'm trying to help. This was Biden's war. By the way, by me getting involved, they'll say, oh, it's Trump. This is not Trump's war. This is Biden. This is a war that should have never happened.
Meanwhile, Ukraine and the United States have signed a memorandum on the minerals deal, said the Ukrainian Economy Minister Yulia Sviridenko. The deal is revived after being put on hold from February when Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky made an ill-fated trip to the White House, where he was publicly humiliated by Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. The U.S. said it would invest in Ukraine's reconstruction in exchange for access to its rare earth minerals. Nazri Karim, TVB News.
And still ahead, Good Friday is commemorated across the world in different ways. A look at how a local charity gives a helping hand to foreign domestic helpers in need. And introducing Nordic walking from Finland as a new way to exercise. Welcome back. Christians around the world celebrated the start of the Easter weekend with Good Friday services. Worshippers in war-torn Gaza took time out together in churches as Israeli strikes continued. And in Rome, celebrations of the Way of the Cross took place at the Colosseum. Tracy Furness looks at these and how other countries celebrated Good Friday.
In Italy's capital, Christians gathered for the Way of the Cross procession at the ancient Roman Colosseum arena, recalling Jesus' suffering before his crucifixion and death on the cross. A day earlier, Pope Francis visited Rome's central prison and met with dozens of inmates as he kept an Easter season appointment to spend Holy Thursday among the least fortunate, even as he continues to recover from pneumonia. Palestinian Christians gathered in an Orthodox church in Gaza City to mark Good Friday, even as Israeli strikes in the coastal enclave killed at least 25 people. It was the second Good Friday since the war began, and the mood was mournful inside this small church. Congregants wore black, bowing their heads as they recited traditional prayers and lit candles to commemorate the crucifixion of Christ. Israel marked Good Friday with worshippers walking down the Via Dolorosa in Jerusalem, retracing what tradition holds were Jesus' final steps, while reciting prayers at the stations of the cross. 4 months after its long-awaited reopening, Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris welcomed worshippers and tourists Friday for an emotional Easter ceremony centred on the crown of thorns, a circular band of branches encased in a golden tube, and one of the Catholic Church's most revered relics. And in Brazil's capital, Rio de Janeiro, the faithful in the largest groups of favelas gathered to follow the Good Friday procession through its narrow streets, followed by an enactment of the last moments of Jesus Christ from his trial with Pontius Pilate to his crucifixion. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
Following Good Friday, today is Holy Saturday. In the first part of our Easter special about a Hong Kong Catholic charity, we take a look at how it is helping the city's ethnic minorities, including domestic helpers, who face unexpected tribulations and literally trials. This cheery 2-year-old girl was born in Hong Kong but in a prison with no parents by her side for months. A similar situation for this 8-month-old baby boy. They are raised in a shelter run by charity Mercy Hong Kong, founded by Catholic priest Father John Wotherspoon, with the help of other domestic helpers also residing in these shelters. Some of those helpers are also seeking refuge here after being embroiled in difficult circumstances. They include Indonesian helper Mary, who was arrested and detained for 6 months on suspicion of money laundering after being lured by friends to rent out her bank account for around $1,000 to suspected criminal syndicates as stooge accounts.
I cried every day in the detention center. My family and my children do not know where I am. It seemed no one could help me.
Unable to work and without a roof over her head, Mary was referred to this shelter and has lived here for 8 months.
For these people from Indonesia or the Philippines, life is very, very difficult, especially if they're in between jobs or have been terminated or have court cases or police cases. During this time, they're not allowed to work, and so their income is very, very little for food or for accommodation. So there's a very big need to help people like this.
They have a now own temporary to stay our shelter, and then they will start a new life in the future, and then so they can move out when they can support by themselves. Hong Kong people need more and more to care about this group.
Another Filipino domestic helper, Jonah, said she has been inspired by the love and selflessness of Father Wotherspoon and the charity's manager, Lucia.
You know, I admitted before, I'm nothing. I don't know what's my direction, even my about Christ, God. Now, I am the 101% lucky.
In addition to this dormitory for domestic workers, the organization has also rented 5 additional centers and 5 subdivided units for those in need to reside free of charge.
For all the needy people, we find that Easter is a time of hope for us, that we also can rise from difficult situations.
The first outdoor halal food festival was held in Tsim Sha Tsui today. The food jamboree was held in Park Lane Shopping Avenue in Tsim Sha Tsui, featuring more than 10 halal food and cultural stalls. The festival also showcases ethnic performances. Many ethnic minorities in Hong Kong are Muslims, with strict rules on the slaughtering and handling of meats they eat. They eat only beef, mutton, and chicken and do not consume alcohol and pork. Such culinary features are also introduced in the event as well. Eastern Hospital has been running Nordic walking classes since 2019. It is a Finnish-originated form of total body exercise and has attracted a group of patients who wish to expand their community. Memo Sangai reports.
This physiotherapy gym at Eastern Hospital is often filled with energy and enthusiasm on Saturday mornings. Warm-up exercise first before participants engage in Nordic walking, a sport that is different from normal walking in multiple aspects, including the use of two poles in a complete muscle workout for the body. When we were recording in the gym, there were 45 people aged 50 to 91 in the exercise session. They could be patients with diabetes, arthritis, or Parkinson's disease.
It engages our upper body, the arms, the shoulder, the chest, and the core. It is a more comprehensive form of exercise than normal walking. It is more preferable for patients with coordination problem, mobility problem, and also joint problem. Okay.
Being the first local hospital to introduce Nordic walking, Yao says they have been promoting the activity in the community, but public awareness about the sport remains low.
In Hong Kong, it's a small region and also a crowded region, so it's not easy to develop. Yeah, because I don't think people like to walk with two poles on the road, and there's a lot of people going about. So if there are pathway that they can walk, if there are place that they can walk for, I think more participants would like to join.
While patients can join the class voluntarily, the number of participants has grown from 6 to more than 160. To learn Nordic walking, one of the beginner steps is to train left-right coordination. This is Patty, one of the earliest patients to join the class. Suffering from arthritis, she has been practicing Nordic walking since 2019.
First of all, I aged. I noticed that the aging very much affect my joints and my strength, but Nordic walk helps me to keep up the strength and build up the muscle.
Apart from enjoying the sport, Patty says she has gained something else by being part of the group: friendship.
We go out together. At the beginning, I started the chat group, telling everybody that it's just for the exercise information. It's not a social group. And then I found, wow, there are a lot of classmates that messaged me privately, and we started the friendship.
Known as the class prefect, Patty hopes the group can further promote Nordic walking in the city. Memos 9, TVB News.
Tourists visiting Russia may face challenges with phone networks due to new government rules. Sakur Ib reports from Moscow.
St. Basil's Cathedral has long been a colorful icon of Russia. This UNESCO heritage site is renowned for housing 10 churches within one structure. Nearby, Red Square, built in the late 15th century, adjacent to the Kremlin, the center of Russian power. It is a must-visit attraction for tourists and influencers alike. They flock here for photos and live streaming. But sharing these moments with friends using local networks may not be easy. From the start of this year, the Russian government implemented a new policy regarding SIM card purchases. Foreigners are required to submit their passport information translated into Russian. They are then eligible to purchase a local SIM, a process that can take around 2 weeks. For tourists, telecom providers offer eSIM cards that provide internet access only, without the local number, but compatibility issues may arise with some devices.
It's not convenient and it's disturbing us like a touristing guys. If you want to book tour, if you want to take an ATM card, if you want to take order food or taxi, everything here is requiring a Russian number.
Business travelers share a similar experience and often seek help from locals.
4.2 million foreign tourists visited Russia last year, increased by more than a third compared to 2023. In terms of number, Chinese tourists still rank the first.
Despite visa restrictions due to the Russia-Ukraine war, 2.9 million Russians traveled abroad last year, a 25% increase year-on-year. Among visa-free destinations, China welcomed 1.89 million Russian visitors in 2024, while Hong Kong received 131,000 last year. A Moscow travel agency notes Hong Kong remains an attractive proposition to Russian travelers, offering convenient access to mainland China.
One of the advantages is a very easy connection with Guangdong, the biggest region of China, which is interesting for tourists, not only for shopping but also to see specific of this region. And it's possible to see Hong Kong and China in one trip, and it's a unique opportunity.
Ina says an increase in flights could be the key. Currently, there are only 2 direct services from Hong Kong to Moscow each week. Guangzhou and Shanghai have 2 to 3 a day. Sakarib, TVB News, Moscow.
And that's the news. Thank you for watching.